Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. We begin with news of another tragedy on the nation's roads this morning as a police constable attached to the St. Catherine South Division was killed in a motor vehicle crash along the P.J. Patterson Highway in Clarendon. The severed body has been identified as 30-year-old Constable Anthony Bailey. TVJ News has learned that Mr. Bailey was driving a Toyota Corolla motor car along the highway sometime before 6 o'clock when he lost control of the vehicle. The car hit an embankment and overturned. Mr. Bailey was thrown from the vehicle and was run over by other motor vehicles. The constable's head was reportedly severed during the ordeal. Head of the Highway and Traffic Division, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen, told our news center that the policeman was speeding. It's also believed that the cop was not wearing a seatbelt, which resulted in him being thrown from the vehicle. With the new road traffic bill expected to be implemented soon, the Traffic and Highway Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force says it is optimistic that the new legislation will bring about greater order on the nation's roads. The details in this report.
The new road traffic bill, which will repeal and replace the existing 1938 Act, was passed in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, February 6. It was approved with 131 amendments and seeks to implement new rules and increased penalties for breaches existing. Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica Thursday morning, head of the JCF's Traffic and Highway Division, SSP Calvin Allen, said the new fines are there as a critical deterrent.
Mindset for people to behave better. And having written 508,000 tickets in 2017.
508?
508,910 tickets were written. But you're still seeing certain behavioral pattern taking place. There is no way that an individual should amass over 500 tickets and still be able to buy bread, still be able to renew his driver's license, still be able to go and register his vehicle, still be able to do all the normal things another motorist who has not committed a breach will do. There is no way that that should happen.
As it relates to officers who breach the law, SSP Allen says there will be a zero-tolerance approach.
We really don't play around as it relates to that aspect of it. Where are we? As recent as 2 weeks ago, we had was to prosecute an officer in a policeman in Spanish Town who was behaving untoward in terms of the law.
He said in going forward, surveillance cameras will be a critical part in enforcing the law.
Already we have on our database motorists that has just blatantly ran the red light, and so people will be seen in their mail or on your email or on your record. Yes, and that will be accompanied by the necessary evidence of photograph of your vehicle with the registration number. So in terms of the queries, it will be there to show in that regard.
The legislation will now go to the Senate, then it will be sent to the Governor General for assent, after which it will be gazetted and passed into law. Rashid Masters, TVJ News.
Detectives in St. Anne are carrying out investigations into the death of a man on Main Street, St. Anne's Bay, early this morning. A passerby saw the body of a man believed to be of unsound mind laying in a pool of blood at the doors of a prominent business place. When the police arrived, the man was observed to have several chop wounds to the head. Investigators say they are now relying on video footage from business places in the area that can assist them in finding the perpetrators of the crime. One man is dead following a shooting in Savlamar, Westmoreland yesterday afternoon. Dead is 21-year-old Rogan Brennan, otherwise called Jigsy, of 24 Hudson Street in Savlamar. Reports are that about 3 o'clock, Brennan was at home playing video games with his girlfriend when an armed man entered his house. The man opened fire, hitting Brennan in the head and the chest. He died on the spot. The man then fled the scene on a motorbike. No motive has been established for the killing. This brings the number of persons killed in Westmoreland since the start of the year to 21. One of two men who attempted to rob a police officer in Savlamar, Westmoreland Tuesday evening was shot dead. His crony, who was wounded, remains hospitalized in critical condition. Reports are that about 8:30 in the evening, a police officer was driving his private motor car along Lewis Street when a motorbike with two men approached, one brandishing a handgun. The men attempted to rob the police officer, who challenged them. Both men were shot. One died on the spot. A woman who was reportedly standing in the vicinity was also injured. She was taken to the hospital where she was treated and released. A Smith & Wesson revolver was reportedly taken from one of the gunmen. Head of the JCF's Community Safety and Security Branch, SSP Steve McGregor, is calling for parents to get more involved in the lives of their children. SSP McGregor argues that a lot of the problems currently being experienced in society are due to a lack of parental guidance. TVJ's O'Shane Masters reports.
It's often been asked what's the root cause of the country's growing crime problem. The answer from researchers points to the issue of socialization. Determined to put an end to the scourge of crime, private and public entities have been implementing various programs. On Tuesday, the JCF's Community Safety and Security Branch launched a program for schools in St. Mary aimed at nipping crime in the bud.
Problems of crime and violence in our country is not going to be solved overnight. But if we want to make a permanent impact on it, we have to start from as early as we are doing here now.
Head of the Community Safety and Security Branch, Senior Superintendent Steve McGregor, argues that the country suffers due to this misconception.
That we make the mistake to think that our boys take longer to settle down than our girls. It is not true. It is because we spend more time in grooming our girls to become responsible and treat them in a way different from our boys.
That's why he wants parents to become more involved.
In our homes today, you should still find time to spend social time with your kids. Mom is at home on her iPod. Father is on his smartphone. And guess what? Children are also on their smartphone. So nobody is thinking about that together time. You see that together time, that is when the children will talk.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Commuters who use the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC buses may soon have to pay more for that service in the form of a fare increase. This as the cash-strapped company has put in a request to the government for a revision of the current fare structure. In an interview with our news center, Managing Director of the JUTC, Paul Abraham, said the state-owned bus company has approached the Ministry of Transport seeking a new fare structure.
Yes, there is a need for a fare increase. I would say successive JUTC management have all lobbied for an increase. And we are no different. We have made representation to our parent ministry for an increase, and we're hoping that we'll get some results over that shortly. We have sent various scenarios to them, a combination of a fare increase along with subsidy. As you know, we are in discussion with the ministry on that, and we'll see what the results will come from that.
The request for a fare increase comes in the wake of a report in Parliament last week projecting that the bus company will rack up a $7 billion loss during the 2018-2019 fiscal year, which begins on April 1. The report tabled last week by Finance Minister Audley Shaw also projected that the JUTC will suffer a $3.1 billion loss during the current fiscal year. During the new fiscal year, the JUTC's fuel bill is expected to increase by $1.1 billion to $3.6 billion, while it will have to fork out an additional $500 million for the repair and maintenance of its buses and depots. Mr. Abrams explained that one of the contributing factors to the spike in losses is the competition from illegal transport operators.
Some of the expenses that we are facing right now are, along with the aging fleet, which is requiring high cost of maintenance, fuel, etc. Those are some of the components that are heavily weighed on our budget right now. We are trying to keep everything as tight as possible. Our expenses are running parallel or below our budget. However, it's a challenging operation with the competition that is out there, the illegals and the other forms of alternate form of transportation.
He also added that the JUTC will be implementing some medium to long-term cost reduction strategies.
We are implementing a time and attendance for greater control on overtime and accountability for salaries, etc. A tracking system, and that will be able to control driver behavior and help with maintenance as we go along. Accident investigations to control our personal injury situations and damage control to vehicles outside. So we are operating in the best capacity that we can, but we are challenged with a number of issues that do affect our operation.
Herman Green. The Randolph Lopez School of Hope in San Andrew has received some assistance as the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast Committee has donated $450,000 to the institution. The funds were raised at the recent National Leadership Breakfast Forum. Speaking at the handing over ceremony at the VMBS corporate office on Wednesday, President of the VMBS Group, Courtney Campbell, highlighted that the social welfare provided by the government is not enough to sustain resources for the country's vulnerable citizens.
We're hopeful that the donation being made today will go a far way in advancing this noble cause, but also promoting to the wider public the mission on which you have embarked. As your vision states, you aim to provide dynamic leadership, advocacy, and influence that will facilitate the full integration and inclusion of persons with intellectual and other developmental disabilities in society. The Victoria Mutual Group also supports this vision of upliftment and empowerment as articulated in our mission, which states that we are committed to partner. We thank all those who have donated and assure you that the funds will be sowed into good soil. Thank you very much.
He added that in an effort to enhance the physical surroundings of the school, the institution will be the VMBS Group's 2018 Labor Day project. School principal Sylvestine Reed said the school is in need of a sick bay and proper playing ground. However, she is thankful for the donation.
Your donations are valuable contributions to our school, as they will help to improve the social skills of our students, skills that are significant to better integrate them in our society.
We go now to news overseas as survivors, parents and community members came together on Wednesday night for a town hall meeting on gun violence. This after the recent massacre at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where 17 students were killed last week. Those gathered demanded changes from Washington and the National Rifle Association. The details from the CNN.
Why does it have to take a national dialogue about gun violence playing out in an emotionally charged town hall just miles away from last week's school massacre in Parkland, Florida.
My generation, we did not get it done. You will get it done.
Question: how to prevent a uniquely American problem, school shootings.
The folks in our community don't want words. They don't want thoughts and prayers. They don't want discussions. They want action.
What are you Both of Florida's U.S. senators fielding questions about strengthening gun laws. Republican Marco Rubio facing the father of a victim of last week's shooting.
Were guns the factor in the hunting of our kids? They were.
And here's
it's the weapon of choice. Can you say that?
Senator Rubio facing criticism for receiving donations from the National Rifle Association.
Senator Rubio, can you tell me right now that you will not accept a single donation from the NRA in the future?
You have every right to ask that question of me, and I'm here to tell you that I will stand for the things. Are you going to be
accepting money from the NRA in the future?
I've always supported, I will always accept the help of anyone who agrees with my agenda.
Now, one of the proposals being considered in the U.S. Senate, and something President Trump said he would be open to, raising the minimum age to 21 for purchasing rifles. The NRA rejected that idea Wednesday night.
Well, it's not the position of the NRA, because I think that if we are asking young men and women to go and serve their country, that they should be able to also have a firearm.
And we go now to sports as a thrilling ankle leg run between St. Jago and Edwin Allen in the boys 4x400 meters open closed the show at the Central Athletics Championships came to an end at the G.C. Foster College. This as St. Jago retained the boys' title and Edwin Allen defended their girls' championship. Trishana McGowan reports.
The local track and field season continues to buzz with excitement as the curtains came down on the two-day Digital Central Athletics Championships right here at G.C. Foster College. St. Jago boys, they defended their title, and Edwin Allen girls also retained their title. World Under-18 finalist Anthony Cox of St. Jago and Giovanni Powell of Edwin Allen had an exciting showdown on the ankle leg of the boys 4x400 meters open in the final event, a fitting end to an exciting championship. It was the Edwin Allen quartet who narrowly edged St. Jago in a winning time of 3 minutes 13.84 seconds, with St. Jago second in 3 minutes 13.85 seconds, with Homo Technical third in 3 minutes 16.07. McKay Harriet was one of a number of double winners, taking the Class 1 sprint double. The upstanding Homer technical athlete won the 100 meters in 11.73 seconds, just outside the old record of 11.72. She then returned to take the 200 meters in a meet record of 23.56 seconds. World Youth 100 meters, bronze medalist Kevona Davis of Edwin Allen also sped to a record 23.61 to win the Class 2 girls 200 meters. She also helped her team to victory in the 4x100 meters in a meet record of 45.34. Also outstanding on the boys' side was Daniel Chambers, who won the 100 meters in 10.95 seconds, the same time as teammate Vashan Vasiana, who was second with Clarendon College, Rajay Morris, third with 10.99. St. Jago tallied 346.5 points to top the boys' standings, with Edwin Allen tallying 412 points to retain their girls' title. Trishonda McGowan, TVJ Sports.
And that wraps up the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.